using some more recent examples of completely failed by Rotten Tomatoes. So as you all know, a lot of people still, for some stupid and absurd reason, trust Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, I know my channel is those channels are way bigger than mine, and the common people, if you see on TikTok, YouTube, they're gonna pull up like for example, they'll pull up worst Marvel movies and pull up critic scores by Rotten Tomatoes. Same thing with the mainstream media. They always pull up Rotten Tomatoes scores and say these are the worst Marvel movies because Rotten Tomatoes said so, not because they said so, because Rotten Tomatoes said so. Okay, same thing if you they have like ranked video game movies. They can say, oh yeah, the best video game movie is this movie because it had the highest score. It has a 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not, even though the better movie could have a lower score by the critics, but no, we have to trust Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, we have to trust, Rotten Tomatoes, which, is a completely, horrid, thing. Again, the reason why people still trust Rotten Tomatoes is because a lot of movies, the fans and the critics basically feel the same about a movie. Okay, but then we have the big movies that disconnects. Like, no one really cares about Fantastic Beasts 3 because it sucks. I haven't seen it, but I have heard from some people it's just the same garbage as the last one. Okay. And the box office is before, of course, we all know there's the rigged audience scores. But when a movie doesn't have a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes audience score, then the movie is effectively not popular. Okay, it's not good enough. Okay, because you have the rigged audience score. Of course, Disney movies magically get 90% plus, but and what's on the streaming service. But but every other movie, they can't get 90% plus audience score. Okay. Here. And then, of course, we have, people. This is why you don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, okay? Fantastic Beasts is considered a mediocre movie, which most people believe it is, okay? Then, of course, we have Sonic 2. Everybody's saying Sonic 2 is one of the best movies of the year. Or if not the best movie of the year, okay? 67%. But it had for some, absurd reason, it's 67% Rotten Tomatoes, okay? It used to have a rotten score, okay? Which probably negatively impacted the movie's early box office. Because there are still people who trust this score. I do not know why. Okay? People say, oh, but it has a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. Therefore, it must be bad. Therefore, it must be horrible. Okay? This is the problem. Okay? People say, oh, this is the sole reason. They're not going to listen to what the audience thinks. They're not going to listen to what the people think. They're not going to listen to what the critics think. And the critics hate movies for absurd and stupid reasons. Okay? Of course, now to the 67%, which probably did help the movie's box office recover, ratings-wise, okay, when I talk about early box office performance, I talk about the first week at the box office. But typically, if a movie gets good traction and a good word of mouth, the rigs do recover, unlike Midbis or Morbius. Okay. And there are some cases like Morbius where people disagree. Okay. Uncharted is a movie that, oh yeah, Morbius, fans and the critics agree that the movie sucks. Okay. And we have Uncharted. This is a movie that released earlier in the year. This movie has a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes because they said it was too much action. Okay. They complain about movies for completely and stupid and absurd reasons, but it has a 9% on audience score. Of course, if it was Disney's movie, it would have a 99% because, of course, Disney, somehow magically gets all of their, fanboys out to go see the movie, which is completely, proof that Disney rigs their movies for success, but, this movie did pretty well at the box office. It did pretty well. Okay, the box office is doing pretty okay without, Disney and Marvel and Star Wars, which are all made by the same company, Disney, having a movie every month, okay? And the one movie they did release was called Death in an Hour, completely flopped. And they also released Turning Mid in Disney Plus, so, yeah, Turning Mid, people were spared of watching Turning Mid in the theaters, okay? But then we have an example, Turning Mid. Okay, a lot of people say Turning Red is a mid movie. Okay, mediocre or even bad. It has a 7 out of 10 IMDb, which is abysmal for Pixar standards. Okay, it's abysmal for Pixar standards, but of course for an average animated movie, it's actually a pretty good score. But for Pixar standards, this a 7 out of 10 is bad score. Okay, we could it is basically like the Good Dinosaur levels. Okay, yeah, the Good Dinosaur has a 6.0. Oh, that actually has 6.7 out of 10. Has a 6.7 out of 10. Cars 2 has like a 6.4, 6.5. It's still much higher than movies like Morbius, Dark Phoenix, and Suicide Squad. The first one, not the second one. But of course, they're going to judge the scores based off Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, saying, Rotten Tomatoes is the be all end all for movies. But Rotten Tomatoes gives near perfect scores for Disney and Pixar Turning Red. And we all know they have a bias towards Disney and Pixar. Same thing with the Academy Awards. Okay, they have a bias towards Disney. Okay, Disney did not deserve Best Animated Feature. Okay, Disney does not deserve Best Animated Feature. They ignore other movies and act like Disney's the only one in existence. Okay, but this movie, for some weird and odd reason, has a 94% Rotten Tomatoes, even though everybody says it's a mid movie or not good. Which for Pixar standards is 7 out of 10. Okay, it'll likely rank on everybody's worst Pixar movies list, alongside other culprits like The Incredibles 2, The Good Dinosaur, Onward, Luca, and let's not forget Cars 2 and 3. Okay, and even then, Cars 2 and 3 still has a cult following behind them, with mostly people who like the first movie as well. And the Cars series as a whole has a cult following mostly of younger people around Gen Z and millennial and the lower end of millennials having nostalgia for the Cars franchise. And I think there will probably be some cult following around Turning Red, just like Cars 2 has, and just like The Good Dinosaur probably will have in the future. But Turning Red would have been one of Pixar's lowest selling movies if they released in theaters. It only made $14 million at the box office, which is abysmal for Pixar standards and Disney standards, but then you read that there's four on Disney Plus. It's, there. And then, of course, we have Luca, Encanto, Raya, all movies that people said, well, I think people didn't say why it was, but people said Luca and Encanto were forgettable. And Encanto won Best Movie of the Year, or Best Animated Movie. And I can go over why, the Oscars saying about animated movies was completely absurd. Animated movies are not made for just kids. Okay? And I think the problem is the studios refusing to make animated movies that are not, that are for older audiences. The only, a movie like Free is not for kids. But if you tell me that Demon Slayer, the movie, which also came out in that year, last year, is for kids, people will just laugh at me. But someone just tell those free, stupid Disney princesses that maybe watch anime. Anime is not for kids, obviously, okay? There are some that are, but, Dragon Ball is for teenagers. Okay, we all know that's true. For Demon Slayer, it's for, adults. It has, so much blood and gore and stuff in the show that, it's really rated R for the movie, basically. Okay, most anime movies are rated some of them are rated PG, like Dragon Ball movies sometimes out, but a lot of them are rated PG-13 and rated R. Okay, I wish we would have more animated movies that as animated industries we taken seriously. Okay, we could have animated Marvel movies, we could have animated Star Wars movies that have the same rate as a Pixar movie, but they're rated PG-13. Okay, and same thing with R-rated animated movies. Okay, that are not based off The Simpsons or South Park or something like that. Okay, like a completely original movie series. And no, Sausage Party was a failure because nobody liked that movie. But an actual good R-rated anime movie would probably shake up things in the animation industry. It probably won't change Disney, but it'll probably convince other animation studios and new animation studios, hey, maybe there was an audience for old animation for older people. And animation is not just is not just for kids. Cartoons is not just for kids. Like anime is not for kids. Most anime is not for kids as well. And yes, for example, TV cartoons. There's a lot of TV cartoons that are made for older audiences, like Rick and Morty and Family Guy. But none of that is used in movies. So yeah, Rotten Tomatoes cannot be trusted. Okay, we all know that for sure. The fact that Tony Red has a 94% and Sonic has a 67% is baffling to me. Okay, and really shows that Rotten Tomatoes has a bias. Has a bias towards Disney and Pixar that we all know exists. The fact that Encanto gets near perfect reviews, but Dune gets like the 85% is just completely absurd. Because everybody said Dune is a masterpiece. Okay, of course, Disney fanboys and big YouTube channels said that Encanto's a masterpiece, but they never look at the smaller people like me. I don't really think Encanto's that great of a movie. I thought it was mediocre at best. Okay, I don't think it is anywhere near anything. I don't think it's anywhere near a masterpiece. I think it's like a 6 or 7 out of 10 movie. But if you sell it to a Disney fanboy, say if you have Tony Red, they will get angry at you. They will get furious at you because you have a different opinion than them. And, again, there's some big popular anime movies that I do not like. Like, I do not really like The Incredibles 1 and 2. I do not really like the Lego movie because I thought the Lego movie was a very annoying movie. I thought the songs was the worst part of the movie. I thought the main character, Emmett, was very annoying. Okay, same with The Incredibles. I think it's that The Incredibles is just basically just making, it's just the terrible version of like Fantastic Four, and it has forgettable characters like everybody as well, and of course has the most generic villain content. Oh my God, I used to be a hero, now I was a villain. Oh yeah, Star Wars did that already. Okay, it's nothing new, and everybody acts like The Incredibles is some sort of originality. And of course, let's not forget the fight scenes are boring in The Incredibles. Which for a superhero action movie, I did not like the fight scenes at all. So, yeah, I did not like the fight scenes. I hated the fact that the cities looked lifeless, even though there have been several movies that have came out and the cities look more alive than The Incredibles' bland and boring city. Okay, The Incredibles still had its fun and good parts, which makes it like a mediocre movie to me. Because The Incredibles still has good scenes and good parts of the movie. I'm not completely discrediting the movie like it's this awful pile of trash like I make it out to be. But yep. But Tony Red is definitely far worse than The Incredibles. Because Tony Red has a very bad, annoying main protagonist. It doesn't know what theme it wants to go with, which is a bad plot theme altogether. Okay, and the 4 main characters are very annoying, and basically the movie is a very bad representation of Chinese culture. Yeah, it is. Okay, if you want to watch a movie with better representation of Chinese culture, watch Kung Fu Panda or watch the original Mulan. Those are much better representation of Chinese culture than Tony Mid's annoying, angsty, I can do whatever I want teenager that looks like Sans from Undertale. Yeah, I have to make fun. And also adds the car art style, what I hate. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just, Tony Red just looks cheap and generic, okay? It doesn't look like a Pixar movie. It looks like the B team movie, okay? That's what it looks like. It looks like the B team movie. The B team of Pixar. It's like, oh, gonna make this. Okay, and the difference between Tony Red and like the Lion King. Lion King was made like the B team, but they actually gave all of their effort to make the movie. Tony Red, this was like one of the, like a major release. Okay, and it's obviously so that this is made by the B team because the right ear looks much better than this one. But Ruka also has the same art style, so yeah. Tony Red is just complete garbage. Okay, I think I said that in my original review of the movie. But yeah, the fact, this is the audacity that this movie has a 94% Rotten Tomatoes, Shark at 67%, Judge Stack says this week like 72%. Okay, I'll talk about that in a different video about the bias towards Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars. Okay, that Rotten Tomatoes has. And that there is an inherent bias towards Disney, okay? Because if they, and talk about how they changed the audience score just to protect Disney movies, which is stupid because there's other companies as well. Because, of course, they didn't change the audience score to protect Ghostbusters 2016, but they did immediately when Captain Marvel was being attacked by people online. And people didn't want to see Captain Marvel. Like, come on, okay? Come on, okay? But yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is probably going to die once there's a replacement site for Rotten Tomatoes, which I think will probably be made in this decade. So, that's basically about this video. Goodbye.